we got to provide the context here. And yes, I do think that Jimmy Dore is still an infinitely better voice to listen to than anyone on the actual like conservative right wing. Like if you're going to listen to Jimmy Dore or Ben Shapiro or Jimmy Dore, Steven Crowder, obviously Jimmy Dore is the superior option. Yes, the dude is not as right wing as some people make him out to be. It's not like he's just out here saying go vote for Trump and like we should, not tax the rich and like we should not have universal health care. Like, yeah, obviously when it comes to economics and a lot of things, Jimmy Dore is more solidly in the left camp than a lot of other commentators, and he's definitely better than a lot of people in the right wing or in corporate media. So, just the caveats aside, Jimmy Dore is not the worst person in the entire world. He's not the worst commentator in the entire world. We don't have Dore derangement syndrome. But there are very legitimate criticisms of him to be made, including sometimes that come from his own audience. And we wanted to talk a little bit about those today because a lot of people are smelling bullshit when it comes to Nick Brana and the People's Party. And the fact that Jimmy Dore keeps pushing this on his audience and encouraging them to donate to this organization, despite the fact that they have zero results to show for their multiple years in existence now, and untold, probably thousands of dollars of donations flushed down the drain from, again, not just Nick Brana's followers, but Jimmy Dore's own audience, who he consistently recommends they donate. Here's a video called Third Party Banned from Florida Ballot. And Nick Brana's whining about how Florida used some antiquated law to knock them off the ballot in some like very local commissioner, judge, or something position that they were trying to run a candidate in Florida. What he fails to mention is they missed the deadline to even apply for the ballot in the first place. So they missed the deadline to get on the ballot and are now trying to act like it's the fault of the state and that they're, the victim of some fascist antiquated law or whatever, when in reality it's their own incompetence, which is why they weren't able to get on the ballot. And you guys might remember, not even 6 months ago or so, Nick Brana was on the Jimmy Dore Show promising that they would have a whole slate of congressional candidates ready to run in the 2022 midterms. I can tell you the midterms are heating up right now. They're upcoming. Missouri votes tomorrow. The state I live in literally votes tomorrow. The People's Party has zero fucking candidates, not a single fucking candidate. What they did do, they waste $20,000 of donation money on a logo they never used. It flushed a lot of other money down the drain into purposes that we know nothing about. Anyway, let's take a listen to some of this video because Jimmy Dore, if you can believe it, does bring up some of these allegations against Nick Brana. And you'd think he'd want to, properly investigate these allegations, right? You'd think he'd want to at least understand the context of what Nick Brana has been accused of, and not just Nick Brana, but the entire People's Party, because he wants to frame it all as, oh, they're Me Tooing you. This is just a Me Too. There's been issues with the People's Party for years now, far before Zaina Day accused Nick Brana of sexual harassment and sexual assault. There have been volunteers leaving the People's Party in droves, spilling the tea, sounding the alarms about the dysfunction going on behind the scenes in this fake party. We've had them on our show literally over a year ago now. We had on a handful of volunteers who explained to us credibly, and we investigated their allegations about how dysfunctional this party was, about how they were unjustly fired, removed from Slack, subjected to various forms of abuse as far as their relation to this organization goes. So it's not just this one specific allegation against Nick Brana, although that is of massive significance. But again, you'd think that if someone was going to keep parading a third party on their show and its leader asking people to donate to them, suggesting that this is the way forward rather than any other form of activism, you'd think that that person would at least vet the allegations. They would at least familiarize themselves with the concerns, right? Apparently not. Apparently Jimmy cannot be bothered to do that, even after the allegations have been explained on an interview on the Sabby Sab show, a channel which is adjacent to Jimmy Dore. Sabby's been on Jimmy Dore's show. She seems to still like Jimmy Dore. Jimmy seems to like her. The fact that he didn't even take the time to listen to her interview and listen to Zaina Day's story, I think is just crazy. But again, if you're going to keep promoting a political party, I think you should at least do your basic levels of homework, but apparently not. Anyway, let's take a listen to this before we get into some of the comments.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we're about to all get to see what a hardball interview looks like, right? Jimmy Dore loves to bemoan access journalism. I'm sure he's going to give Nick Brana the real 1-2 here.
So, well, good luck. And this is what happens to you. And then I'm sure there'll be a A hashtag me too come at you too. Do they still do that after Joe Biden? Does that still happen after Joe Biden?
Doesn't seem like it.
Anyway, so that'll happen. That's what they do. Except they couldn't do it to Ralph Nader. Nobody would have believed it for a second. But anyway, you did have some, right, Nick? Now you made a video recently. You tell me.
They have. They've tried that. I mean, they've tried all kinds of things against me and the People's Party. And yes, we made a video responding to those accusations against me.
Oh, okay. There's a video.
It's on our YouTube. Anyone who wants to see it can go see it.
Okay.
But when you look at the people who are under the most attack in this country,
oh, he's freezing. Goddamn internet.
When you look at the people that are most under attack in this country,
yeah, I was Jackson Hinkle. He's being deplatformed left and right. You're being attacked constantly. Max Blumenthal,
Aaron Mate, Glenn Greenwald, Matt Taibbi. We could go down the list.
What do these people have in common?
Chris Hedges.
Chris Hedges. These people are actually working to bring together left and right, because that threatens the establishment the most. And so those people are the people who, like, the antibodies of the establishment.
So sorry to break in, but did I miss it? Or when was Glenn Greenwald, Matt Taibbi, Chris Hedges, Aaron, when were these people accused of sexual assault and harassment? Like, if you're saying, oh, this is what they do to all the people that are really challenging power, Matt Taibbi, Glenn Greenwald, Aaron Mate, Jackson Hinkle, as far as I know, motherfucker, you're the only one that's been accused of sexual assault and sexual harassment. Am I wrong? Have these other people that you just brought up been accused of sexual harassment? Because you're saying, like, oh, this is what they do to all the people that seriously challenge power. Meanwhile, let's not forget, the People's Party is not seriously challenging power. They don't have a single goddamn candidate. Do you really think that, like, the fucking CIA or whatever is sitting around like, oh, let's take down the People's Party, this completely incompetent joke scam of a party? It's not even a political party. Let's spend our time infiltrating this and, leveling false accusations at this loser right here, even though they've never accomplished anything and never will accomplish anything. Again, they don't have a single candidate on the ballot after like 5 years of being in existence. In what way are these people seriously threatening the establishment? And if you're going to falsely accuse someone of sexual assault, why not do it to like Howie Hawkins or something? He was at least on the ballot. He was at least on the fucking ballot. The People's Party doesn't have a single candidate on the ballot at any level whatsoever, but he's still going to pretend that his threat to the establishment is why he's been accused of impropriety, despite the fact that those allegations seem, by all accounts, to be very credible.
Yeah, I mean, one, to echo your point, no, there has been no allegations against the other individuals that you've mentioned of allegations of fucking rape. I want everybody to fucking grapple with this too, because this is the way that this little shithead is smirking it off on the Jimmy Dore Show. Serious fucking criminal allegations against himself, okay? And he has this whole martyr complex, this whole messiah thing going on. It's fucking ridiculous. It's pathetic to watch, and honestly, the dude just makes me want to vomit every time he opens his fucking mouth. But that's not substantive commentary. That's just the way I feel whenever I listen to him yap.
And I'm actually in awe of his restraint here, because he didn't bring up Julian Assange. Usually when he's talking about this, he says, oh, well, they're doing to me just what they did to Assange. As if Nick fucking Brana has ever challenged power 1/10 as much as Julian Assange has in a fucking day of his life. As if anything Nick Brana has ever accomplished even holds a fucking candle to the serious journalism, the actual anti-establishment, anti-imperialist journalism of Julian Assange. So yeah, I'm actually in awe of his fucking restraint that he didn't bring up Julian Assange there, but instead he just brought up a bunch of other people who have not been accused of sexual assault, somehow kind of implying that they have. Like, when the fuck has Chris Hedges been accused of sexual assault? Literally never. But for some reason you're going to compare yourself to him because you both challenge the establishment. Fuck off.
What do these people have in common?
Chris Hedges.
Chris Hedges. These people are actually working to bring together left and right, because that threatens the establishment the most. And so those people are the people who, like, the antibodies of the establishment, try to destroy those people the most. And I think that's what we're seeing with everybody.
Well, I'm always suspicious of people who spend months and months and over a year to try to undermine the efforts of a third party that has no money and no power at all. It's immediately suspicious when people spend make it their career to try to undermine an organization that has no money and no power. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't believe victims of abuse want people to know their story. What a crazy reality we live in.
Less money and power than the Boy Scouts, and they're trying to go. So that's what happens, right? So that the establishment wants to undermine, and they try to divide, and they infiltrate. I mean, there were infiltrators in Bernie Sanders' campaign the first time. We covered it on our show. I mean, legit infiltrators, like from the intelligence community, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's because Bernie Sanders' campaign was actually a legitimate threat to the establishment. Clearly, what is the People's Party ever accomplished? What is there even to infiltrate? It's not even a political party. It's a literal scam grift of an organization that just exists to glean a few extra dollars out of the pockets of Jimmy Dore's audience. That's all it fucking is. They've never accomplished anything. They never have accomplished anything. They never will accomplish anything. They pretended like they were going to run a slate of congressional candidates in this election cycle. And instead, now they're just pivoting to try to draft Dore for 2024, even though Jimmy pretty clearly doesn't actually want anything to do with that.
Yep.
So, so that's what they do, and they try to squash it before it has a chance to grow. This is one way. They try to get you kicked off the ballot, and they use obscure laws and all kinds of crazy stuff. And, you know, there's lots of, and another way is to try to infiltrate, undermine, create division. You know how it goes. It's the same thing. And
Exactly.
so, well, good luck. Good luck with this. It's not going to be.
Nick Brana is glad. He's so fucking lucky that Jimmy Dore has not an ounce of journalistic integrity, apparently, because again, even if you still support the People's Party despite everything, even if you genuinely think Nick Brana is innocent, don't you still at least think that like such claims deserve to be looked into, deserve to be vetted, and not just like passed off and swept under the rug? Oh, it's just the establishment, bro. It's just them, you know, trying to infiltrate you and take you down. Like, don't you think that these kind of accusations deserve at least a little bit of investigation and scrutiny? Don't you think it's at least worth listening to the stories of these people before you just write it off in such a callous way and in such a, you know, disgusting way? It just blows my mind.
Yeah, pretty pathetic all around. Not much else to say about it other than the fact that this is people showing you their true colors when the rubber hits the road. What's Jimmy going to do when it's his friends that need to be pushed? Is he going to do access journalism like he always criticizes everyone else for? Or is he going to go hardball like he always claims to do? Well, we saw it for ourselves right there. Does look like we got a few super chats, though. Oh, did you want to get into the reactions really quick?
Yeah, so quickly, I did want to get into some of the comments Jimmy received on his video segments featuring Nick Brana. Here's Radical Leftist Agenda on Twitter saying that Jimmy is acting like Nick Brana is some legit authority on third parties, but the comment section is where it's at. And I saved some of the comments before they get deleted because the Jimmy Dore Show is notorious for censoring comments on their page.
Which is hilarious because his fans melt down that everybody else is doing that all the time.
I know, it's so funny. And by the way, Radical Leftist Agenda is a Jimmy Dore fan. This is not like some fucking Jimmy Dore hater. This is someone who's part of that community. Anyway, they go on to post some of the comments here. Thank you for bringing this up. I was wondering the same thing. I really like Jimmy's show too. I hope he's receptive to whoever contacts him. I'm kind of disgusted to see Nick's face on here till he comes forward with the evidence he claims to have explaining everything about his accuser. And that's a really good point. They're referencing here the fact that Nick Brana went on Sabrina's show on the Sabby Sabs podcast. When he was on there, he said, oh yeah, I'll send you all this information I have that basically verifies my claims and that proves that my accuser is lying. He promised Sabby he would send her that information. Then a couple months down the road, when Sabby interviewed Zaina Day, the accuser, she clarified that she never received any of those documents. Nick Brana never sent her any of the documents that he claimed would prove his innocence. So even though he said live on air, promising her, yes, I will send you these documents that prove my innocence, he never fucking did. So doesn't that kind of tell you what you need to know? Like, let's be honest here. Here's another
also like the fucking explicit evidence that they were infiltrated by our Revolution LA and that these people were all Democratic infiltrators. Yeah, still waiting for that smoking gun, Nick. It never came. You just fucking trashed and smeared and slandered people, just like you're doing now.
Exactly. And that's going back to what I said earlier. Even if you put aside the allegations of sexual harassment and sexual assault, there's been allegations from People's Party volunteers for years now that don't even have anything to do with sexual impropriety, that are just simply about the dysfunctionality of the party and how there's no accountability whatsoever behind the scenes. And those people were also smeared as infiltrators by the People's Party. And guess how I know they're fucking lying about that too? Because if they had evidence, we would have fucking seen it by now. If you think the People's Party had evidence that there were infiltrators in their organization and they didn't release that information, then you're crazy. Obviously, if they had that information, they would have happily and eagerly released it as soon as they possibly could have. But the fact that they haven't tells you everything you need to know. There were no infiltrators. It's all just smears. Anyway, let's look at some more comments. This one says, also, he spent 5 years in DC working as an intern. How did he support himself while living in such an expensive city? He spent his freshman year of college in London, then transferred to the College of William and Mary, a bit pricey. He claims that he has not collected a salary from MPP, but his father has some type of role in MPP. I suspect he comes from a wealthy family who can afford to support him. He's able to work for free until he can earn a salary. That means he has a lot of influence in MPP. And again, these are all comments on the Jimmy Dore Show. These are people that are part of Jimmy's community that are commenting this stuff, very critical of Nick Brana. Here's one that says, I used to support them, but there's too much evidence against MPP/Brana. Jimmy is making a serious mistake by taking sides. And I totally agree with that. Like, again, Jimmy's not the worst commentator ever. I still agree with a solid percentage of what the guy says. I really genuinely wish that he would wisen up and stop associating with Nick Brana. Like, if you want to push the third party movement, I'm 100% with you. I vote Green Party. So platform them. Why are you platforming a fake organization, a fake third party that is actively taking away money, attention, donations, support, and volunteer time from real organizations that are pushing the third party goal that I actually support? Why are you platforming this fake grifter?
I mean, I think it's obvious, right? The Green Party would challenge him. The Green Party wouldn't promote his content relentlessly from their main Twitter page. The Green Party would be actual serious about promoting their goals and not just being the Jimmy Dore fan club official Twitter account, right? And I think that that's exactly why we've seen him just, what does Jimmy love? He loves adulation. He loves people that shower him with praise, and he wants to surround himself basically exclusively with people who do just that. And so I think it's only natural that he would, continue to defend the movement for a People's Party, because they've satisfied, in a very Trumpian way, they just satisfy all of his worst impulses, which is to, make him seem like he's right about everything and that everybody against him is an op, essentially. So, yeah, I mean, I think that his audience is waking up, those of them that will. Obviously, it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. This is something that he would never look past for anybody else. This person, Blue Moon Red Wine, says, Jimmy, I seriously worry about some of Nick Brana's background, including doing communications for John Kerry and having a paid position with Terry McAuliffe, governor of Virginia, who was chairman of DNC and former advisor to the Clintons. Nothing against third parties, but all these parties seem to have individuals with too long a history with Democrats. That what gives me comfort, and not just as voters. I hope you look into this because I do like your show, no matter how many people troll you. Thanks. And Steve Jones said Nick Brana recently had some allegations against him, plus his own third-party Twitter account went nuts, spamming tons of tweets that made him look completely insane. That was what I was referencing earlier. And he still hasn't explained himself regarding these allegations. His accuser has already come forward and even showed audio and MPP email receipts. The fact that Jimmy continues to give him a platform time, and that previous grapefruit interview, it's not a good look on Jimmy. It's an awful look, and he's going to hear from me. I'm very disappointed in Jimmy because because he knows the allegations. Yeah, one, that top comment, Blue Moon Red Wine, that would have been a Gray Zone article if this was not a fucking Jimmy Dore affiliated fucking MPP. Of course it was. If this Blue Moon Red guy knows it, Aaron Matte and Max Blumenthal would have been like, John Kerry, Terry McAuliffe, are you fucking kidding me? I'm just telling you that would have been Nick Brana, head of third party op from DC. That's like an obvious low-hanging fruit Gray Zone article. And I'm not even going to be mad about it if I see it. I'd be like, yep, that's the kind of shit they write about. They write about where everybody was employed before this and if that's shady or not. And that is 100% they're right. But we all know for a fact, okay, that would have been a Gray Zone article years ago. But while they both suck from the same tit, so it's all good.
So true. And honestly, that reminds me of a joke I've been making from the beginning, which is maybe the infiltrator is Nick Brana. Maybe he's been sent to make the third party movement look like a fucking joke and take away time, energy, and donations from the actual serious third party efforts, such as the Greens, which are actually challenging the duopoly in a serious way. Because again, what Nick's doing is not helping the third party movement. It's making the third party movement look like shit. It's making it look unserious. It's taking money and donations and attention away from serious efforts like the Socialist Alternative and like the Green Party. And that's why I think it's bullshit that Jimmy keeps platforming this fucking grifter and asking people in his donation to support this fake organization. Because again, I actually care about the third party organization. I care about the third party movement. We're not just doing the segment to dunk on Jimmy Dore and score some points on Jimmy Dore. No, I actually think that it's morally reprehensible for him to, keep providing this kind of softball treatment to someone who's been credibly accused, but also because I actually care about the goals of the third party, and this is not helping those goals be accomplished. So that's why we're doing the segment. I think it's worth pointing out. And yeah, also the fact that there are people in Jimmy Dore's audience like Radical Leftist Agenda, shout out to you if you're watching, that are also fed up with this and also think this is really gross and icky behavior. It's not how people on the left should respond to these very serious allegations. And again, even if you think that Nick is innocent, you have every right to think that, but you should at least believe in like real journalism being done. And when someone is accused of something like this, you don't just like sweep it under the rug. You're supposed to actually like question that person, investigate these allegations, etc. And Jimmy doesn't seem to have any interest in doing that, in holding anyone accountable. Instead, he just wants to keep platforming and potentially enabling someone that's an accused abuser and harasser.